Hey guys, what's up? How are you guys going? Well, welcome to another chapter of Nick the Geek, and this week we're gonna keep talking about derivatives, but this time we're gonna talk about multiplication of functions. So now we're not gonna have only one function as we did in the past. Now we're gonna have two functions. So if we multiply two functions, we're gonna see what happens with the derivatives. Welcome to Nick the Geek, and this is this week's chapter. Well, as I was telling you guys, we're gonna have two functions this time, and we're gonna make a new function, which is the multiplication of these two functions. According to the definition, the derivative of this multiplication is the derivative from the first function multiplied by the second function without the derivative, plus the first function without the derivative multiplied by the derivative of the second function. We're going to make an example, so this is going to be a little bit easier. So don't be afraid, and let's go for the example. The first example we're going to work on is an easy example. So we're going to have this first function, which is x squared, and we're going to have the second function, which is just x. And we're going to have a new function, which is h, which is going to be the multiplication of these two functions. So x squared times x. We know implicitly that x squared times x is x to the third power. But we're not going to mention that in this case. We're just going to keep in mind that we have two different functions. One is x squared and the second one is x. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use the derivatives of this function and these functions, like separate. So the derivative of f is 2x and the derivative of g is 1, right? And we're going to apply the definition of the derivative for a product or a multiplication of functions. So in this case, the derivative of h would be the derivative of f times g without the derivative plus f without the derivative times the derivative of g, which is 1. And that's going to give us 2x squared plus x squared. If we add them up, because we can add them up, that's going to give us 3x squared. And that's going to make sense, because if we know that f is x squared and g is x, we know that the multiplication is x to the third power, and the derivative of x to the third power is 3x squared. So that's a short way to say it, because we already learned in previous chapters about the derivative. But this is the multiplication of products, like the product multiplication using this definition. Okay, and we're gonna go through this last example. We have f as a function which is x squared plus 1, and we have g which is x minus 3. If we multiply those functions, it's going to create a polynomial if we use the factoring cases. But we can use the derivative of the products without having to defactor these two products. So take a look at this example. We're just going to use the derivative definition for products, and that's going to give us like all these steps, like step by step. If we defactor this one, it will create a polynomial, and if we use the derivative of that polynomial, is gonna be this same result for sure. So guys, thank you very much for watching. This was Nick the Geek, and this was another chapter of Nick the Geek. If you liked this video, just subscribe to the channel and click on like, and well, see you in next week's chapter. Thank you for watching, and this was Nick the Geek.